In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to install Python on Kali Linux. Now, we did this in the previous lessons, but here we're just going to work within Kali Linux now, and then I'm going to download Python, both versions. So I'll demonstrate and I'll show you which ones you can download. By default, when you install Kali Linux, it comes with the Python 2.7 version. So you're good to go in that respect. But if you need to install the latest version of Python 3.5, for example, or whichever one is the latest, I'm going to demonstrate how that's done. So let's first, a couple of ways we can do it. We can use the terminal, or we can use the GUI interface as well. I'll show you both ways. All right, so let's open up our browser here. It's called the Iceweasel. Maybe it's going to be merged with Firefox pretty soon. So here you just navigate to python.org, and then you to the downloads page, and you'll see the download Python version 3.5.2 or the 2.7.12. So it depends on whichever version you'd like to download and install. So let me bring that back up. Great. So let's go ahead and simply click on the Python version 3.5.2 because that's the one that we've been using so far. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on download, and I can scroll down and take a look at the release date for the 3.5.2 version, which is pretty current. It's June 26th. And then of course it also tells you the new features in 3.5 series as compared to the earlier versions. So there are some differences, right? So as you code in Python, for example, you may have to use brackets or within your print statement. That's one of the differences between 3.5 version versus the earlier versions. So it depends on whichever version you're comfortable with, right? And find out the zip file here, which is the tarball file, or I can download the XZ compressed file as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the XZ file. This is a compressed file. Brings up a simple message that you've chosen to open the Python 3.5.2.tar.xz, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save File. And once the file is saved, you can simply navigate to your folders and just have a look whether it's there or not. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the folder here, which opens up the Explorer, and I can see various folders that are stored within the Kali Linux. So here are all the folders. So for example, if I click on, let's say, downloads, you'll notice I have the Python versions installed. Of course, we downloaded previously also, so therefore you'll see all these files. Okay, so we have the Python 3.5.2.xz file. Now what I can do is I can uncompress it, right, or unzip it, in other words, or I can move it to a certain folder before I do the install. So instead of within the downloads folder, I can use the a different folder, for example. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simply choose the Python file, and let's go ahead and move it to the desktop. I'm going to close this for now. Once it's moved, close the download screen. All right, let's bring up files. Let's move it to a different folder. I think that's better instead of placing it on the desktop. So let's go ahead and click on the folder one more time here. And let's see, maybe I would like to create a new folder or just use any one of these. So how about this ClayDesk? So let's put this within this folder. So I can simply right click on this and open with the archive manager, or I could choose extract here as well. So here's the Python folder, Python-3.5.2. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the desktop. And the reason why I do this on the desktop is just easier to work with the terminal. You can just change your directory to your desktop, or this is fine too. So whichever way you're comfortable placing the Python files in. So let's go ahead and close this. Close this. So here's our folder. And let me open up the terminal. So before I, in fact, begin the Python installation process, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure everything within Kali Linux is updated. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply do an apt get update. So let's do sudo apt get and just type update, and this will ensure that I have the most current and updated files and packages within Kali. So once the update is done, let me go ahead and just do an ls here to find out our directories. So navigate to the desktop, so change my directory to the ls. So here's our Python folder. So let's go to our Python 3.5.2, and just to make sure we have all the files. Perfect. All right, so let's get started with the installation of Python 3.5. Now we have downloaded it, right? And we have extracted the files on our desktop. You can see there's a folder behind us, right? So I'm going to go ahead and simply first to the ls and just make sure we have all the directories. And let me change the directory to desktop, verify, to the ls, and we have the Python 3.5.2 folder. So let me switch to the Python directory. So that's 3.5.2. And let's have a look what's inside the folder. Great. Now, in order to install, we need to first create a makefile, right? So in order to do this, I have to run, let's say, // and then configure. And what this will do is it will create a makefile within the Python directory. And this is going to take some time. So let me go ahead, once we're done, do the ls again. And you'll notice there is a file called makefile. So next, of course, let's run the makefile, and the command is just make. Hit enter. Great. So our Python setup is now complete. So let me clear the screen here. So once the installation is complete, let me go ahead and just type Python just to make sure. But notice it still shows you the default version, which is 2.7. So let's go ahead and exit out of here. In order to bring up the Python 3.5 version, you just have to make sure that you do Python 3.5, and you'll have your Python default to 3.5.2. Great. So I hope this helps practice downloading Python and installing Python on Kali Linux. With this, let's move to the next lesson.